Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. What's more distinctive and iconic than an Omega central tourbillon and over 20 times less common? Well, it's the Omega Seamaster 50th Anniversary Diver 300-meter limited edition of 50 pieces in white gold. You can see this skeleton hand-engraved caliber Anniversary Seamaster 300 and buy it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch, with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this 1998 limited series of 50 pieces in white gold. Now, of course, in 1998 the Seamaster family turned 50. Now, coincidentally enough, in 2018, Omega as a company is turning 170, the same year the Seamaster line is turning 70 years old. So it's timely that we revisit this watch, marking a great anniversary in the history of a great line, but also as one of the milestone accomplishments of Omega as a brand. Now, the watch is entirely hand-engraved internally, skeletonized and engraved old style using hammers, chisels, and files. Externally, it's crafted entirely in white gold. That's bracelet, clasp, case, bezel, caseback, the whole thing, even the crowns. It has a divine heft on the wrist while still wearing nicely because it is that 1990s so-called Bond Seamaster case. 41 millimeters across the round of the case, 9-3, not including crown guards, crown, or helium escape valve. The watch is slim, 12.1 millimeters thick, and it will easily slide underneath a dress cuff with a nicely sloped bezel. This bezel generation was always a little bit difficult to grasp with a gloved hand, but always wonderfully discreet and elegant, such that the watch wears equally well, even in its stock steel form, as a dress watch. Here, it's definitely a cut above and even more apropos for those who would wear a dive watch with a suit. From lug to lug, the watch is a very reasonable 52.6 millimeters, and that because of the solid end links of the bracelet. You can see how it flares beyond the actual ends of the lugs. The lugs themselves are spaced out about 47 millimeters should you choose to place the watch on Omega's available accessory strap. But once you've had a white gold bracelet finished like this, why would you even bother? Now, the bracelet is quite different from the one that you may have come to know during the era of the Bond Seamaster. And how do I know? I have my own personal Bond Seamaster. You can see there are quite a few differences, but most importantly, though the bracelets appear similar, you can see my clasp features that milled out dive extension as well as a single swing arm, all in steel. And this watch features a sliding incremental adjuster, a single trigger escape, and it's worth noting that this entire beautifully finished and wonderfully gossamer set of components is also white gold. This isn't stamped steel in here. This is finely crafted white gold with an incremental adjustment system that makes this an easy and beautifully engineered piece to wear. There's beauty in the actual finishing of the materials, and there's beauty in the concept. It's an exercise in intellectual virtuosity. Now, of course, closed, it has a much lower, more elegant profile than my watch's milled out clasp, and moreover, whereas my watch used pins and sleeves for removing sizable links, this watch spares no expense, using full gold screws for removing sizable links. And of course, this watch weighs a ton, whereas my watch is merely substantial. You can see you get the handsome lines of the steel case, but executed in 18-karat white gold. You can see satin finished flanked, polished bevels, and of course there's a satin finish about the flanks of the bezel itself. The helium escape valve is present and correct, and the watch is still rated to 300 meters diving depth when freshly serviced, so you're not giving up a lot of functionality with this watch. Moreover, the dial is actually quite easy to read even in low light, thanks to the outboard chapter ring of individual indices, all fully luminescent. A beautiful combination of tones. You have silver, you have blue, you have that almost key lime of the luminova, as well as the gold at center and the blue of the skeletonized hands. This generation of Omega Seamaster was always splitting the difference between a dive watch and a dress watch, and of course the skeleton hands were a signature feature of this generation, but exquisitely executed on the original. They're even more so in beautiful cobalt blue on this dial. Now you can see the movement basically beating away, and a number of whimsical elements have been introduced. Not only has the caliber, Omega Caliber 2400, been entirely skeletonized, but you can see the individual components have been graved and carved and decorated. Now you can see the escapement churning away just below the dial. Moreover, you can see that the movement actually includes the remnants of a quick setting system for the date, which has become a highly polished pinwheel. You can actually actuate it for no reason other than your own amusements. The caliber is engraved and skeletonized on both sides, meaning this is one of precious few 1990s era Omega Seamasters to feature a display caseback. I can assure you mine, though just off camera, does not boast this feature. Automatic winding with a 44-hour power reserve. The caliber is not based on the ETA 2892A2 as my watch is. It's called the 2400, and it's based on a 1970s era Omega 1000 series automatic. Why? Because this movement is almost 28 millimeters across, and because you can see all of it on both sides of the watch, it needs to be bigger than the 2892, which is only 25.6 millimeters across, thus something approaching a vintage caliber brought out of retirement for use in this artisanal 50-piece limited edition. Finally, you can see just below my thumb that there is individual engraving of the number of this watch in the series. So you can actually see your individual series number just below the dial and just above the escapement. This watch is gorgeous. It's to die for. If you had to choose between the Omega Central Tourbillon and this, there's no doubt that the Central Tourbillon is more complicated, more sophisticated, and the high horology piece of the two from an engineering standpoint. But in terms of sheer artisanal value added, blood, sweat, and tears wrought by one man or woman on a masterpiece, this is the easy choice. And as a Seamaster and an anniversary Seamaster in the year 2018, not only are you paying homage to the 50th anniversary, this year you'll be able to wear your watch and drink to the health of Omega and the Seamaster line in their 170th and 70th years respectively. Bottoms up on our website.